Jordan Spieth's bathroom break disaster. Jordan Spieth isn't a stranger to pressure. He's a Masters champion, a golden child of American golf. But at the Genesis Invitational, it wasn't his swing that betrayed him. It was his scorecard. After a rough round, Spieth did what any human would do. He bolted for the bathroom. In the chaos, he signed his scorecard without realizing he'd made a devastating mistake. He wrote down a 4 on a hole where he'd actually scored a 5. Just one wrong digit. But golf's rulebook is unforgiving. Signing for an incorrect score meant automatic disqualification. No warning, no appeals, no bending of the standards. The rules didn't care about context, and Spieth was out. The backlash was immediate. Fans, players, even commentators questioned why such a minor clerical error should end a player's tournament. Jose Ballesteros' disrespectful behavior. Sometimes a disqualification isn't about a technicality, it's about respect for the game itself. Jose Ballesteros, a 21-year-old rookie making his Masters debut, had a golden opportunity to announce himself to the golfing world. But instead of turning heads with his swing, he made headlines for something way more personal. It all started with a hat. Ballesteros showed up wearing an upside-down Sun Devils cap, a quirky nod to his college days at Arizona State. Some fans found it funny. Augusta National? Not so much, but that was just the appetizer. The main course of controversy came at the 13th hole, Rays Creek. Ballesteros needed a bathroom break, but instead of heading to the nearest porta potty, he reportedly relieved himself right into Rays Creek, Augusta's sacred water hazard, the same creek where legends have won and lost the green jacket. The reaction was instant fury. Fans online demanded a DQ on the spot. Some called it disgraceful, others disgusting. One fan summed it up. Not only did he wear that atrocious hat, he pulled his hog out in front of the patrons. Ban him for life. Ballesteros tried to brush it off, saying he completely forgot there were restrooms nearby, and joked that it got one of the few claps he received that day. But the damage was done. The internet had already dubbed it Ballesteros Stream. Cole Hammer's hand signal controversy. Sometimes the smallest gesture can end your tournament in the blink of an eye. During the first round of the Memorial Health Championship, Cole Hammer glanced over and saw Nelson Ledesma's caddy flash 4 fingers, a quiet signal that his player had hit a 4-iron. Hammer gave a nod and flashed his own club in return. A quick, "Yep, same here." That's it. No words, no drama. But the next day, everything changed. Hammer couldn't shake the feeling that something about that moment crossed a line. He brought it up to officials just to be safe, and once the Korn Ferry Tour reviewed it, they made their decision. That brief exchange had violated Rule 10.2a, which strictly bans players or caddies from giving or receiving advice during a round. By the 6th hole of round 2, officials stepped in, and the result was immediate. Both players were disqualified. Golf, the only sport where flashing 4 fingers can cost you your entire weekend. Hungry for more stories of golf's wildest moments? Subscribe now and get a front row seat to the most shocking moments and epic meltdowns the game has ever seen. Sam Horsfield's mysterious disappearance. The final qualifier for the 2025 Open Championship started with 72 players. It ended with 71, and no one knew why. Everything was unfolding at West Lancashire Golf Club, where a stacked group of hopefuls, many of them from Livgolf, were battling for just 5 spots at Royal Portrush. Among them was Sam Horsfield, a 28-year-old Englishman with 3 DP World Tour wins and a Liv Golf contract in his pocket. But while others were trying to go low, Horsfield was sinking fast. After a disastrous 7 over 43 on the front 9, something clearly snapped. And then he vanished. No official notice, no message to the marshals, no word to playing partners. He just walked off the course mid-round without telling a single soul. That silent exit triggered an automatic disqualification from the R&A, an abrupt and baffling end to his attempt at qualifying. Horsfield later tried to explain the situation on Instagram, but the damage was done. Because when the pressure's on, disappearing without a word probably isn't the best game plan. Sergio Garcia's Liv Golf ban. Some players get banned for losing their temper, others for cheating the system. But Sergio Garcia? He got banned for a battle much bigger than golf itself, the war between Liv Golf and the rest of the golf world. The 2017 Masters champion shocked fans in 2022 when he jumped ship and joined Livgolf. The paycheck? Massive. The consequences? Even bigger. By making the move, Garcia violated his DP World Tour membership obligations, something the tour didn't take lightly. He refused to pay the fines, missed mandatory events, and basically burned every bridge on his way out. The result? He was banned from competing in DP World Tour events and declared ineligible for the Ryder Cup, a competition that had defined his career. But in 2024, the script flipped. Garcia reapplied for membership and came crawling back with a check. He paid over $1 million in fines and fees just to get reinstated. And even then, he'll still have to serve out suspensions before he's allowed to tee it up again in 2025. Now he's chasing a shot at his 11th Ryder Cup appearance. But make no mistake, he's not walking back in, he's got to earn it. And after getting banned and fined like that, let's just say that Ryder Cup locker room might feel a little colder than usual. John Daly's meltdown suspension. Sometimes trying to stay loose during a delay can get you in even more trouble. In November 1993, during the second round of the Kapalua International in Hawaii, John Daly was having a rough day. After starting the round at even par, he encountered difficulties, including 3 double bogeys. On the 11th hole, following a missed birdie putt, Daly picked up his ball and failed to complete the hole. He then proceeded to tee off on the 12th hole, an action that led to his immediate disqualification from the tournament. But the consequences didn't stop there. PGA Tour Commissioner Dean Beeman had seen enough. He handed Daly a full suspension from all tour-related events for the rest of the year and left the door open for 1994. Even more, Daly was ordered to seek professional counseling, because at that point, this wasn't just about breaking rules. It was about a player clearly losing control. And this wasn't Daly's first meltdown that year. At the Kemper Open, he got disqualified for throwing his scorecard into the scoring tent after a brutal final round. Then at the Southern Open in October, he walked off mid-round without informing his playing partners. As Beeman stated, John now knows emphatically he can't quit. You can't go out there and walk off the golf course. And just like that, Daly wasn't just penalized, he was banned. A rough year for a guy with a rough edge, and golf's rulebook finally caught up to him. Hideki Matsuyama's white paint nightmare. You don't usually expect a Masters champion to get banned in the middle of a tournament, especially not for something so bizarre and unexpected. The round had barely started when officials pulled Matsuyama aside. The issue? His 3-wood, specifically a suspicious white substance on the club face. It looked like a bit of correction fluid, something harmless, but in the eyes of the rules, it was a problem. Turns out that white paint was applied for alignment purposes by his own equipment rep, no less. But there was too much of it. According to the PGA Tour's chief referee, the club face had become non-conforming, meaning it could potentially affect ball performance. That's a violation of Rule 4.1(3). No warning, no slap on the wrist. If you use a non-conforming club during play, even once, you're out. And just like that, Matsuyama was disqualified. One of the cleanest players on tour, banned from a tournament over a club that probably gave him zero advantage. The irony? He only hit one shot with it, his opening tee shot. Officials said the call was clear, but for fans, it felt like golf's version of getting a red card for wearing the wrong shoelace. Hideki didn't argue. He took the DQ with class. But still, banned for a bit of white paint? That might go down as one of the most polite scandals in golf history. Rory Sabatini's sticker situation. A ban so ridiculous you'd think it came from a parody rulebook, but no, it was real. And it knocked Rory Sabatini out of the tournament faster than a shank off the tee. It's the opening round of the 2021 RSM Classic. Sabatini is rolling. 5 birdies in his last 6 holes, sitting at 4 under, looking sharp. But as he wraps up his round, someone notices something on his club. Not a performance enhancer, not a tech device, just a tiny reflective sticker. That's right, a sticker. It's the kind players use during practice to track club head speed with launch monitors. Totally harmless, unless you forget to take it off. And Rory did. He used that fairway wood in competition, and that made the club non-conforming under Rule 4.1. The punishment? Not a slap on the wrist, not a warning. He was banned banned from the tournament instantly. His entire round was wiped out, his score erased, all because of a tiny sticker that no one even noticed until after he'd finished playing. Sabatini owned it. He reported it himself, but let's be honest, he didn't get beat by the course. He got beat by adhesive. Ben Crane's wrong ball blunder. Every golfer has made a mistake on the course, but at the 2024 Corrales Punta Cana Championship, Ben Crane made one that got him banned. And the worst part? He didn't even know it at the time. Crane had just birdied the 7th hole. Things were looking solid. He was finding rhythm, looking sharp, doing what a 5-time PGA Tour winner is supposed to do. But then came the 8th and a moment that turned his entire round inside out. He hit the wrong ball. Simple as that. Walked up to it, gave it a rip, kept moving. Problem is, it wasn't hit. It belonged to his playing partner, David Lipsky. And instead of fixing the mistake right then and there, Crane made it worse. He went to the 9th tee and hit his next shot. That was it. Instant disqualification. Game over. No warning, no redo, just done. It was a shocking exit, especially for a guy who's been around forever. And while Crane's had his name in headlines before, usually for playing slower than traffic on a Monday morning, this one was a full-on mental blunder caught in real time. He didn't throw a club. He didn't argue. He just hit the wrong ball and got himself banned for it. Padraig Harrington's missing signature. A moment so brutal, so absurd, it barely sounds real. A player dominating the field, 5 strokes clear of the competition, and then getting banned before he could even tee it up on Sunday. The year was 2000. Padraig Harrington was on fire at the Benson and Hedges International Open. After 3 rounds, he wasn't just in the mix, he was leading by 5 strokes. He was steamrolling the field heading into Sunday with a win practically in his pocket. And then, gone. Not a blown lead, not a final round collapse, not even a rules dispute on the course. Nope. He got disqualified over a missing signature. Yes, seriously. Turns out, after the first round, Harrington had turned in a scorecard with 2 signatures, but neither of them were his. Somewhere in the post-round routine, something slipped. And by the time tournament staff retrieved the scorecards to put them on display, they spotted the issue. His name wasn't on it. According to Rule 6-6B, that's an automatic disqualification. Padraig didn't argue. He took full responsibility, but that didn't make it sting any less. He was literally banned from finishing a tournament he was dominating because of a clerical error from 3 days earlier. In golf, you can eagle 5 holes and hit every fairway, but forget your own autograph, that's game over. Michelle Wie's first paycheck, gone. At 16, Michelle Wie was on the brink of history. She wasn't just another rookie, she was a phenom. Fans and media were calling her the future of the women's game. At the 2005 Samsung World Championship, she was about to cash her first pro paycheck, $53,000. But then Sports Illustrated's Michael Bamberger noticed something odd about a drop Wie had taken during her round. Officials remeasured the spot and determined her ball was about a foot closer to the hole than allowed. By the letter of the law, it was an incorrect drop. Because she signed her card without the penalty, she was disqualified. Just like that, her first paycheck disappeared. For Wie, it was more than money. It was a brutal lesson that in golf, reputation can swing as quickly as a driver. Instead of making headlines for her talent, she made them for a technicality. The controversy was amplified by the fact that Bamberger didn't say anything immediately. Instead, after the round, he measured the drop distance himself and later questioned Wie about it. When she explained her triangle thing for ensuring she wasn't closer to the hole, Bamberger grew more suspicious. The next day, after Wie had finished tied for 4th and was set to cash her first pro paycheck, LPGA officials stepped in. The timing and the method of the reporting sparked outrage among fans and even some fellow pros who felt a 16-year-old was being unfairly targeted. And that's the wild part about golf. You can hit every fairway, drain every putt, and still lose it all over a towel, a sticker, or a missing autograph. Which one shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you love stories like these, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because trust me, we've barely scratched the surface of golf's craziest scandal.